Florida Congressman Byron Donalds joins me now. Well, you know, it's really a joy hearing him call people fiscally demented or demented in any manner. But what's your response to that?
My response is that Joe Biden sounds utterly ridiculous. Look, everybody knows that during the COVID-19 pandemic, the federal government spent more money than it ever had to try to keep our economy and, better yet, the lives of the American people afloat. Now that COVID is gone, we're actually regressing in terms of spending. That's a good thing. For him to take credit for it makes no sense at all, because he is the one who has plussed up spending across the board and actually fights for returning to spending levels pre-COVID-19, which is frankly where we should be going. So for him to make a statement like that is because what he wants to do is keep all of the items that he has ratcheted up spending in. He wants to keep those in place, as opposed to doing the smart thing, the responsible thing, the fiscally sound thing, which is examining spending at the federal level so we can get our debt under control, our inflation under control, which he caused, by the way, and let the American people thrive and prosper.
You know, Congressman Donalds, I find it stunning that this bill, the omnibus bill, the $1.7 trillion omnibus bill that he signed, had 4,000 pages. And I believe that you guys were given 72 hours, if even that, to read through it. How do you even know what was in the bill? And why does this happen?
Well, first of all, we weren't even given 72 hours. It was about 6.5 hours from when it came over from the Senate and was thrown on the House floor by Nancy Pelosi. This kind of thing always happens because of the brinksmanship here on Capitol Hill, where this place doesn't work until there's a crisis that must be solved. One of the things that was in this bill was $400 million to secure the border for 7 countries in the Middle East. And actually, in the omnibus bill, the money for Border Patrol was specifically said to not be used to secure our southern border. That was one of the things in the omnibus bill, the reason I voted against it, and so many of my colleagues did the same.
Well, the amazing part of it is he doesn't own the fact that, you know, people can't even afford a dozen eggs anymore, that we hit a new debt ceiling, that this $1.7 trillion was packed with pork that you had apparently, as you say, 6 hours to look at, and then he calls the Republicans fiscally demented. I mean, it's like, it's almost like truth has nothing to do with what he's saying.
No, it doesn't. And you have to understand, he gets protection from the big media. I mean, look, people saw I was on a different network last week, and you can see how conversations go when you try to bring the facts. He knows he's not going to be questioned. The man doesn't hold press conferences much anyway. The White House press secretary just ignores the questions that come, and she answers when she chooses to answer. So he gets to get away with this kind of stuff. A Republican president can't get away with saying this stuff. But listen, this is the same Joe Biden who ridiculed somebody like myself who didn't want to vote for him, trying to say that I wasn't black. Newsflash, Joe, my mama knows better. But that being said, he doesn't have to acknowledge this stuff because big media protects him.
Yeah, well, the big media protecting him, it's kind of interesting. I think with all this going on with the documents, the classified documents, it may be changing a bit. What do you think?
I think so, but you know, I'm not going to hold my breath. The reality is that Joe Biden had documents when he shouldn't have. He was a former vice president, no ability to declassify and no rights to have those documents anywhere outside of a secured facility run by the intelligence community. Very different from Donald Trump and, for that matter, Barack Obama and George W. Bush. So he's got serious questions that need to be answered here.
All right. Plus, the involvement of his son makes it even more fascinating. Thank you, Congressman Byron Donalds, for being with us.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.